opening statement, and then we will go to questions.
Well, another good weekend of growth for our team last weekend. Tough loss against Michigan State. We did not play well early in that match. Didn't play well late in the match either, but we played really hard and got it back to a chance to get them to a fifth set. And we're just not playing well enough to win those kind of matches yet. And this is the week that I talked about with you guys coming up here. That is just going to be a tremendous challenge for us. We have our next three opponents are all in the top 25, and then our fourth opponent is Illinois, who's in the Big Ten, who's undefeated and probably about ready to break into the top 25. And so we have just a tremendous task ahead of us this week, and I wish we were playing better. We're not playing great yet, and it's coming. We will. I love our kids are playing really hard, but we're just not doing the things that we need to do to win those really big matches yet. And hopefully this is the week that we break through. We got 4 great opportunities ahead of us. I don't think we'll walk into any of them as a favorite in the next 4, but we walk into all 4 of them capable. And so we just got to take them one at a time. And this is RPI building schedule. This is a tough challenge, and we've got to find a way to go out there and scratch out a couple of these. So with that, I'll take questions.
Getting to open a home schedule though with Tennessee, I mean, as challenging as that is, obviously, how nice is it to have that opportunity here at home? What a way to kind of kick the home schedule off.
Yeah, it should be great. Tennessee is who beat us in the second round of the NCAA tournament last year in a really competitive match, and they have a tremendous team again. I saw they beat UCLA over the weekend, and they're very, very well coached. They play extremely hard, and but what an awesome way to kick off the 24 season in Diddle Arena. If you've ever been curious about the sport of women's volleyball, Tuesday night, you need to come check it out. It should be a great environment, 2 really good teams, and having them here at home hopefully gives us a boost of confidence and energy that because it'll take everything to find a way to beat them. They're a very good team.
Was this a game that the schedule, was already kind of in the works, or did the tournament?
Yeah, good question.
Kind of lead to that?
No, actually, we played them 2 years ago. In Lauren Matthews' senior year, we went to Knoxville and were able to get a win. But we did a home and home with them, over a 3-year period. And we went there 2 years ago, and then they agreed to return over one of the next 2 years, and so it worked out better to put it off for a year and do it this year. So this is their return game from the home game 2 years ago that we went to Knoxville, and great opponent to get into Diddle Arena. Should bring a lot of fan interest and will be tremendously high-level volleyball and a great opportunity for our team. Like I said, we're going to have to find a way to try to squeeze a couple of these out this week. We're a good team. We're not a really good team yet, and hopefully this is the week. But nothing will happen this week that will deter me in terms of what I think about the group of kids we have in our locker room.
You said before, coming into this season, you knew this 6-game road stretch was going to be a tough matchup. Are you proud of what the girls took out of this? Did they get what you expected?
Yeah, we've done the part. Look, I always tell our players the non-negotiable is we got to play hard. We got to compete, and our kids have played really hard and competed to this point. And we haven't played great, but that's why they give me a paycheck. It's my job to help them play great, and we've played really hard and competed. Again, in the number 9 team in the country in Kentucky, we get them to a 4th game and are in a position to potentially get it to a 5th. And again at Michigan State, we lose 25-23 in the 4th. If we get that to a 5th, I think we're in control of that game. We're fighting our tails off out there, but you can fight as hard as you want. You still got to do things in a good way and make winning plays and do little things right, and we're just not doing all those things yet. And that's part of what preseason volleyball is for. The preseason part of your schedule is for. But unfortunately for Western Kentucky, we're immediately trying to build resume from week one. Most people are in this 4-week stretch of non-conference play where they're just trying to figure out who their team is, and they're learning about each other and they're getting better. And boy, wouldn't that be a nice approach? I would love, because we are absolutely right on track to doing those things. But when we try to put ourselves in a position to earn an at-large bid, we have such a small margin of error that we have to be pretty doggone good early on. And that's probably a little unfair to our team, but it's the reality of where we are. And so we've got 4 great opportunities this weekend to hopefully find a way to get a win that matters.
When you look back to last year, kind of echo these same sentiments with, different circumstances. Obviously, Paper sick on the road, I believe.
Penn State.
It was a rough start to the season for you all. Not rough, but different start to the season for you all. What's the difference from last year's team to this year's team? The two.
Well, the schedule is this schedule is way more unbalanced. Like, you like to have schedules. Like, the tournament we played this weekend was fantastic. The tournament we played in the opening weekend was fantastic. You take a hit at a big-time opponent, but when you're playing 3 matches in 2 days, it is physically and mentally draining in general. And so when you're playing, 4 in a week of the caliber that we're playing, it's way too much to ask, to be perfectly blunt about it, from a physicality and a mental standpoint, because you expend a ton of energy doing that. But we were just in a position this year where, we had an opportunity to get some of these teams to come to Diddle Arena. And so it's so hard to get high-level opponents to come to Diddle Arena and play us that when you get those opportunities, you take them. But all of a sudden, when we looked up at our schedule, they were all clumped together this week. And we'd love to have that balanced out a little bit, but it just didn't work that way. And so it's better to do it in the manner we're doing it than to have to go on the road to play all those teams, if that makes sense. And so, it is what it is in that regard. And, we're healthy right now, knock on wood. I said we had to stay healthy, and we are. But this week is just going to be about, it's not going to be a lot of coaching and practice. It's going to be about rest and in game planning and trying to find a way to make these teams uncomfortable enough to find a way to get a win.
Do you see that as a double-edged sword of being the program that's had the success you had in that? You want to build that resume and get these teams in here, but some of these teams probably don't want to come in here.
Yeah, it is. It's a challenge in scheduling to get teams in general, the right teams on your schedule, but certainly to come to Diddle. And, again, the fact that Tennessee's coming here, I give them a lot of credit for scheduling that home and home with us. We'd love to do that with some other teams of their caliber. But like I said, I would love them to be sprinkled in as the schedule goes along instead of 4 in a row. And but it's the way it fell. And so, sometimes these kind of stretches can bring out the best in your team. And so that's what I hope. When we get through this weekend, and you look at our season the rest of the year, I think, we're going to be the team that's favored most every night. And we just got to get through it mentally, and physically both, and hopefully find a way to scratch out a couple, in here. Where, I feel pretty comfortable in going on record as saying I don't think we're going to go 4-0 this week. But we're just going to try to go 1-0 on 4 different occasions and see where that leaves us at the end of the week.
With the way last season ended against Tennessee, do you feel the returning players kind of have a little bit more of an edge with trying to get back at Tennessee or trying to get
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think in those terms ever, because different season, even if it's a lot of the same players, it's a totally different team and a totally different vibe. It's very rare that it feels like you're playing the team you played last year. And, the Paige Briggses and the kids, I forget, her name escapes me, from Tennessee, Morgan Fingal. The Paige Briggses and the Morgan Fingals that were in that match last year are now pro volleyball players and, gone on to do great things. And so maybe, I guess as a player, you would feel that a little bit when you see that uniform. But for me, it's just another preparation and against a really good team.
You said it's a lot to ask physically of your team for this week-long stretch here, but how imagine how daunting it is for the freshmen, especially Olivia. But she's really showed up and been a key player to get momentum going. Can you speak on her and anyone else that surprised you?
Yeah, just Olivia is just, ignorance is bliss sometimes. And, I don't know that it dawns on her, if you play 4 high school games, in volleyball in high school in the state of Kentucky, you have some elite teams that are as good as anywhere in the country. And then, you have other nights where it's not as challenging. And so you may play 4 games, but you may have to really play well once or twice, and Olivia's getting ready to play 4 top 25 caliber teams, one right after another, but I won't tell her if you won't. And, but she's off to a great start for us. She's got great experience. Anytime you see a freshman play that well in any sport, you can attribute it to the returning players around them. And they've given her a comfort level right away. And they take a lot of that heat off of her and just let her go be a volleyball player. And I think that's the case anytime you bring a rookie into any situation at the collegiate or professional level. If you have great leadership and great veteran players around them, and we do.
How much do you think having the first 2 weeks, though, can kind of prepare you for here? Because first 2 weeks, obviously, going into different environments. I mean, at least now you're home as great as it is.
That should be great. The first 2 weeks were great preparation for what we got coming because, we're 4-2. We're sitting right where probably everybody expected us to be. I certainly think we could have, found a way to beat Michigan State there, but they were better than us on that day. But we were in a Big Ten arena with 4,000 people in it. We were in an SEC arena with 4,000 people in it. And, so we're not going to see anything this week that we haven't seen. You know what I mean? And we're going to see it in a lot friendlier environment. And, our players are probably glad to be home. I'm certainly glad to be home. The only person in Bowling Green that's probably not glad that we're playing these games at home is my wife, because when we're on the road, she doesn't have to listen to me after games. And so I may have to agree to sleep in my office for this week, but we won't see anything we haven't seen. It's just super high-level opponents coming in, and we're a pretty doggone high-level team ourselves. And so these are going to be fun matches. Detach yourself from end result as much as possible, and just, if you love high-level volleyball, man, it's going to be match after match I promise that. For the next 4, it's going to be some of the best volleyball you can see throughout the country. And the country is filled with upsets right now. If you watch, Texas lost, Nebraska lost, Florida, all up and down. And so we certainly are capable in any of these matches. But like I said, we won't be favored in them, but we're capable in all of them. And we'll take them one challenge at a time, and should be a lot of fun. These are the weeks, there'll be no pregame speeches from me. Our players, if you're not ready to play in matches like this, then what do you do it all for? And so we'll be ready to play. We'll find out if we're good enough yet. I won't even say we'll find out if we're good enough, because I know we're good enough. We'll find out if we're good enough yet.
I know you mentioned that, every year each team is different, but the fact that, these teams that were coming in are teams that you did see last year and when you went up to date, does it make it a little easier for you in terms of, trying to game plan and,
It does. Yeah, I mean, we saw 3 of these 4 last year. We played Tennessee, we played Dayton, we played Marquette. So yes, they return. That's not necessarily something you love to say, but they all return quite a bit. Marquette and Dayton return almost intact from a year ago, and it does. I mean, you can go back and look at that film and get a little more from it, because it's some of the same athletes, out there. So it'll make it a little bit easier. I think it'll make it, a little more familiarity from our players, but they're saying the same thing in their locker room, so it's a little bit easier for them as well.
I know you said that this preseason you guys focus a lot more on defense, but this past weekend against Marist, the hitting percentage was up. I mean, and then against Loyola, Izzy, I think it was 368 or 369. In that match, that offense has started to come along.
Yeah, we're going to be very, very good offensively. Our offense is stumbling a little bit right now because we're not handling the ball great in serve receive. I just got done telling our staff, This early in the year, you usually have a laundry list of things that you need to be better at. We need to be better at first touch right now. We need to be better serving the ball, and we need to be better at handling the ball in serve receive. And considering how poorly we've done those things, we're playing pretty well offensively and defensively, because those things dictate the play. Like when you're in serve receive, if you have a bad first touch, it's hard to have good offense. When you're serving, if you serve a free ball over the net, it's hard to sit down and defend and get stops. And so considering that step one in the process has not been very good for us, we're actually doing it at a pretty good level, and that's exciting because I know those things will get better.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.